Hi guys, welcome back to the Azure Flame Tarot channel. I hope Scorpio season is treating you well. I know, so I'm going to put a timestamp in the comments. I'm going to pin it for the YouTube channel where the Cartomancy and tarot portion of this reading will start. I do want to talk a little bit about the astrology of this though, because it's very significant. We went from having a super new moon to a micro full moon that was also a lunar eclipse, and the longest lunar eclipse that we've had in 500 something years. So that's pretty significant. I'm going to get into some of the Taurus Scorpio oppositional energy. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And yeah, just talk a bit about how this energy is manifesting for us. I do want to repeat that for the purpose of these lunar readings, this isn't like a reading where I pull 3 cards and say, yeah, avoid traffic today because it's going to be chaotic out there during this Mercury retrograde or during this lunar transit. You don't need me to tell you how chaotic some energies can feel sometimes or how intense they can feel sometimes. You feel it. And you can also probably see it in a chart of the day or a horoscope as well. This is about a long-term energy, because these energies aren't just what they are in a chart for a moment. They're constantly moving. So like the moon cycles that are constantly moving, these are very lunar focused readings, and we take in the other energies of the sun and other things as well, because the lunar cycles are very potent for spiritual growth and for manifesting. And that is the purpose of these readings, that, you know, we look at how it's going to go from new moon to full moon to new moon, full moon to the next full moon, whatever kind of window of time that we're looking at. And there's going to be a lot of fluctuating energy in between that. The last time I did a reading, I did a little bit earlier because it was for several dates at once, and I wanted to kind of get everything together. Even though the new moon was on the 4th, Halloween and Samhain was also happening at that time. I'm doing this one a little bit after. It's still going to show up. You guys are going to get it uploaded. I'm doing this in the middle of the eclipse energy, so heaven help me to stay calm because it is a very intense energy. But, and it can be, like, you might have noticed you've had trouble sleeping or nervousness or anything like that during this time. But it's also a good time to get a hold of the energies. Also because what we're really looking at is, you know, a seed was planted at the new moon, but a seed is being planted now too because it's an eclipse that mimics that new moon energy because the moon gets covered. Right? It's still a bit of a dark moon energy for a few hours. I think it was about 6 hours this time. And so that's a really wide window of opportunity for something to be brought in. When it's a new moon energy, it's close, when it's a super moon, which was a new moon this last time, it's close to the earth, right? So that's stuff that we are kind of putting in a basket when it's an empty looking black moon, right? It's void, so you can put things in. And then as that moon gets carried closer to the sun with a micro moon, it's being carried up to the heavens, your spirit guides, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And now they've got an empty basket too, because they've got the full moon of what we handed to them. The basket gets emptied again when the moon gets covered. And then the divine fills that basket, and then it's full again, and it starts to make its way closer to the earth from now until the next new and full moon, right? So that energy is coming back around to us. We gave something, our prayers, our wishes, our manifestations, our rituals, whatever you want to call it, our offerings during Samhain, if you've made offerings to the ancestors, that gets taken up, and then they put something in, and that comes back to us, right? Maybe our blessings, maybe lessons, if that's what we need to learn. So it hasn't come around right now. You might have gotten a bit of a taste of it, right? Because the moon is a mirror, so you can kind of see things. You know, the sky is the mirror for Earth, and the moon is the mirror of the sun. The sun permeates our entire personality because it's the obvious part. Even when it's a very overcast day and it's not blue looking outside, you can tell the sun is up. You can tell it's daytime because it's not pitch black out. That's because the sun is reflecting the clouds and you know, the chemicals, the natural chemicals in our atmosphere, making the color there. Our sky is a reflection of us. It's a reflection of our sun. It's a reflection of the persona we take on, who we choose to be. And when that reflection gets taken off and you can see all the stars behind and the planets behind, you're seeing a reflection of the divine, right? So these planets aren't literally, it's not like the rock in space has a brain of its own and it's telling us who and what we are and dictates things. We have choices. You know, we choose who we are. That's why two people with identical charts can turn out to be completely different people. That's why on one transit day, two people can have completely different days, even if they have very similar charts, because it's depending on what you choose to do with that energy. That being said, none of us can completely avoid the intensity. We often hear during eclipses and during Mercury retrogrades that you should just stay home, don't talk to anybody. And sometimes that might be wise if, you know, say traffic's already been very bad and it's a bad Mercury transit when Mars is in the mix, might mean a car crash could happen and that would be out of your control. But, you know, avoiding things, avoiding work, avoiding a family discussion, avoiding anything of that sort can sometimes make this energy explode, right? Because who are we to dictate to the universe what energy a day should have? You think about that. Avoiding it's just not gonna help. That energy has come to us for a reason. That basket's coming back around. So whether it's a blessing or a lesson is still a blessing, even if it's challenging, even if we don't like it. It's a moment to decide, okay, this was challenging. How am I gonna grow from this? What's gonna happen now? And we get that, and that's a very beautiful point for the Taurus Scorpio energy. I will say this transit has been very significant, I think, especially for people with Taurus or Scorpio in their chart, because this is an impact that's being brought to Earth, right? And I always think of Taurus as the earthiest of the Earth signs, right? Virgo has some Mercury, some air going on because of the planet Mercury. Saturn governs over Capricorn, but Taurus is Venus, right? And that is a very fiery planet, but it's like fiery like the Earth's core, you know? It's fiery like, you know, the natural world, not necessarily like Mars is considered to be very fiery, or the sun. It's its own kind of fire. It's the fire of a campfire, not the fire of a solar ray. It's very earthy, grounded, warm, beautiful. It's associated, I often think of it as associated with cooking because of, you know, the natural fire that can be made on Earth to cook food. It's very much about that Empress energy in the tarot deck. It's very much about, also it's to a point about structure and the Hierophant, but it's all about what makes us feel safe and nurtured, right? That's the beauty of Taurus energy. And the beauty of Scorpio energy is revealing to us the depths of our own soul and what we've stuffed in our shadows. That can be difficult. It can not feel beautiful to some people in the moment, but it's a reflection. You know, it's not saying you are this, it's a reflection. You know, so anybody who says that any astrological sign is bad or any planet is bad, it can be difficult during certain transits. Certain challenges can be difficult, but they're all experiences that are part of the process of ascension and our highest good. So when Scorpio meets Taurus like this in the sky, you get a really interesting thing going on, because it's the sun, the part that's being shown, like the body is obvious, right? The personality is obvious when you're talking. It's clear as day, right? The sun. And the moon is a reflection of that. Literally the light of the moon, it reflects, is a reflection of the sun's light. It doesn't make a light of its own. So it's showing back to the sun who it is. And when it's dark, you can look what's underneath that reflection, right? So what we're seeing here is a beautiful interplay, because usually Scorpio energy deals with those lunar themes, and usually Taurus deals with this lovely, warm, nurturing energy. And so it's like yin and yang, right? They each have a little bit of the other in them right now, and that's a beautiful energy to have going on. I've noticed that some Taurus is very close to me. My mother has a Taurus sun and moon. My brother has a Taurus sun, Cancer moon, and I'm a draconic Taurus. I think it's affected them quite a lot more than me at this point. It's like a spiritual growth for me, but in practical day-to-day things, it's impacting them. My mother has gotten so creative the past couple of days. And I didn't notice it at first because, you know, it's normal for around this time of the year, you know, the harvesting season, for us to be getting a bit more creative with food, doing a lot of candy. But she was like into, like, she made squash chili, and she was making all sorts of new foods this year, especially during the Scorpio season, and very close to this eclipse. The past couple of days, she's really been going at it. And that's one way that this energy can come out beautifully, right? You make your offering, and then it comes back around in the form of divine inspiration and creativity. And for her, that's expressed in her love of cooking food. For my brother, he's really gotten into, like, he was telling me more than he usually does about, like, oh, have you seen this latest video game? It's got really beautiful graphics. Or have you read this story? Oh, I'm really getting into the story. It almost made me cry. Like, I'm like so heartwarmed and touched by that. And you might have noticed, if you're a Taurus or you have some people who are Tauruses close to you, either sun, moon, or other personal planets, that it's impacted you in a creative way. Yes, this energy has been intense, but you might have been getting some like creativity going on too, because you've got that energy starting to come back around to you from the divine right now. That'll come in two ways. Yes, you're going to have some lessons. Welcome those and ask for the grace to figure out how to handle them the right way for you. But also, pay attention for the blessings coming out. Don't miss the forest for the trees, or see, oh, I had conflict around this day, or traffic was terrible. I saw somebody, you know, hit somebody else's bumper. I was so scared. Don't get spooked by things like that. That is a theme of Scorpio season, that these kind of spooky things happen, but it's about rattling up our nervous system a bit to get us to pay attention to things, right? So pay attention to the blessings too. What good is coming in? For a lot of Tauruses, I'm seeing creativity. For a lot of Scorpios right now, I'm seeing deep emotional purging and healing. Anybody who has Scorpio placements, my father is quite a perfect example of this. He has both a Taurus moon and a Scorpio sun. So he, throughout my life, has had not always the most highest expression of Scorpio. When I was younger, right? When you're young, you can sometimes be too egotistical and not know things. But as he's gotten older and wiser, he's changed so much. And most people don't change as drastically as he has. And that is the power of Scorpio's deep transformation. It's a potential. That doesn't mean all Scorpios are going to transform this way. It doesn't mean that some aren't terrible people, but a lot of them are wonderful people. And some of them start out kind of, oof, I don't know, and they get better with time, like so much better. And I'm seeing right now, just in like a small window of opportunity within like these past few months, like a reflection of that. I'm seeing it in a lot of people who have Scorpio energy right now, who are close to me, who I know, some clients of mine, where they're just letting out things like shame or fear or trauma from the past, and they're really coming into this energy of understanding how deeply powerful their ability to transform is. And that's really wonderful. So if there's anything I want you to take away from this, regardless of what the cards say today, welcome the blessings into your life and take every opportunity, whether it's challenging or harmonious, to just find the light. Okay, this was difficult. What good could come out of this? So, without further ado, let's get into the tarot. I opened up to the Hermit. See, that's what I'm talking about, the light and the dark. I like that. I like that. Oh gosh, that's getting stuck. That's getting stuck. Okay, there we go. Oh gosh, I think some cards are just wanting to come out today. I'll take it. I'll take this middle one that wanted to come out. I don't know if I'll take these other two. Okay. See what I mean? It's a bit chaotic right now. Thank God it was just a card crash and not a car crash. Okay. Okay. Oh, see? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Spirit. I kind of feel like taking that one. See, I like that. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I will. Okay. And, oh, okay, so we got this. I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm going to put it up here, but I will bring it back down so you can see it if you can't see that very well. I like this so far. That's really sweet. Okay, so, what you'll notice right away is that most of these cards are just one person. There is this one too, but I'll get that to, and that is the back of the deck energy, so it's important because it permeates the whole chart, but I will get back to that in a moment. This is about the self, right? This is about going inward. And I almost wanted to feel like this was back of the deck energy too. This was the... I'm going to interpret this a little bit differently than what you're going to see in some keyword tarot phrases, because the art on this is a bit different. So the Four of Pentacles is often, for instance, interpreted as being about greed or insecurity. It shows a guy holding on to coins, but I also see it sometimes as him holding on to something in the material world, right? So pentacles and coins are material, earthy things like the Taurus energy we're working with. Sometimes it's not always about money, right? Cups is about emotions. Swords is about thoughts and speech, air things. And wands are about fire, so action and passion, creativity to some point as well. The water can be very creative as well with the... And all of the signs can be creative in their own way. I was just talking about how my mother was expressing that in her own earthy way. Oh, sorry about that. I like this because she looks so confident, right? It's usually about insecurity. We look at how confident she is. She has like got her little, you know, the pearl is about emotional security, right? It's inside of the shell and then it opens up. It's from the waters. So, and this is like on her third eye and crown area, the top one. And the way she's holding her arms, I feel like this is about like almost the opposite. It's about security, because 4 is usually about stability, right? So this is about her feeling stable in herself. I would even say almost, this is so funny because I've been thinking about this lately. It's like she's more stable in her own body. Do you know what I mean? And this is a Black woman in this, so... And I mean, I've noticed a lot in activism lately, and she's got natural hair, how Black women have been trying really hard to become more okay with the fact that they don't conform to white beauty standards in our society, having straight hair, small lips, skinny body. This is like an empress woman to me, you know? She's an emperor. She's got the 4 energy of the emperor, but she's also, I mean, it's a she, so she's got empress energy as well. This is so beautiful. This is about security. It's about being okay with yourself. That's what this energy is bringing in from this eclipse going forward. Some of you are getting back some guidance from the divine to say, be okay with you and who you are. I love that. And then we've got here the 9 of Wands. Normally the 9 of Wands is a little bit different. This one reminds me of the 9 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite-Smith, how it looks in the art, which is why I'm going to interpret it kind of like that, but with like adding in the concept of wands as passion. This is a woman who, she's being independent. She's building up her own foundations. You know, the 9 precedes the 10 of coins, which is about family and completion and material security as well, to a point. But I always see it as about family as well. like the big family with the grandparents, with the grandchildren visiting during Christmas time type of energy. And this is just before that, and the tarot moves through motions just like the moon. So 1 to 10, 0 to 10 if you to 21 if you count the Fool and the major arcana. But it's beautiful because we see like these two cards kind of reflect each other. It's the Empress and the Emperor, even though this is a female, you know, because the Nine of Coins is a reflection of the Empress. And I'm seeing very Empress energy here. We've got the moon too, so she's got this like compassionate energy with sunflowers. We have like a mix of the sun and the moon here in the imagery, just like the lunar eclipse that we've got going on. And she's just so happy in herself. This one's about emotional security, also being okay with your how you passionately express yourself is what I'm seeing here, maybe in art or in whatever way that you do. And Temperance here, we have between this confident energy a bringing of balance, forgiveness, joy. Got like this rainbow of colors here, so it's like got all the colors of the chakras. Yeah, nighttime's coming in, the sun is setting. It's got a solar disk behind his head. I often think of the angel Gabriel when I see this card. I like this a lot. He's got 1 foot in the emotions of the water and 1 foot on the rock of stability. And we've got the moon and the earthy energy here. I like this so much. It's about seeking to find some kind of balance. And then we've got the flowers, which I kind of see as emotionally expressive, and then the mountains on this side. So it's, again, each side of this card has a little bit of the other in it, just like we were talking about with the lunar and solar energies going on. And then the Four of Cups is sometimes described as like ignoring or lost, but I see him not even looking away from the cups, which is looking down at himself. It's like the divine is coming back around with those blessings. And this person, for the time being, he's got a cape on, so it's like he isn't, you know, a bad person. He's like the hero of his own personal story, but he's just reflecting and meditating right now. And we see the fall colors in the background, so he's shedding some things that no longer serve him from within the mind and the heart. You know what, that maybe, and with the red I can think of maybe as anger. What is it that you're letting go of? But, you know, red's also the color of the heart, so that's perhaps holding on to some things and ignoring or letting go of, or peacefully letting go of others so that divine blessings can come in. Letting internal reflection of release coupled with this holding on to energy here. You know, this woman's dressed in the red, so she's all heart. You know, the blue of the water, the emotions of water behind her, even though she's got that 4 earthy energy, she's got that fiery energy of the Emperor as well. I like this a lot. 5 of Pentacles we often see as difficult times. Some people will sometimes describe it as the card of poverty, but it is raining. These eyes in the background are crying. But look at them. They're consoling each other. I always talk about this card, often in relationship readings where somebody's asking me, where is this relationship going? I'll say, it's hanging in there. By a thread maybe, but it's hanging in there. You know, because this is, they're not walking away from each other. And you see it in the Rider-Waite-Smith as well. They're in the snow in that one, and they're walking outside of a church, and maybe they feel rejected by society in some way because they're not inside the sanctuary of the church, but they're consoling each other. You know, they're still together for better or worse, richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, right? That's what I see this card as. It's the in sickness and in health card. It's the, okay, we got through this difficult phase, or we're going through this difficult phase, but we care about each other, right? So if you care about somebody, that's what you do. That being said, I know that during these transits, plenty of people are releasing anybody who's been toxic to them in their life. And that's valid too. This isn't an invalidation of anybody who's letting go of toxic things, because we do see that as well, that there's a potential that with going within, some people are releasing. But it's about balance. It's about understanding you have to let go of some things and hold on to others. And I think this is a beautiful reflection of that, that it's about, okay, we're gonna get through this. I think that's beautiful. Oh, sorry, I keep making noise. Why am I apologizing? It's my channel. I can make noise if I want to. Bang the candle glass. Okay. I did pre-shuffle these, but I'm gonna, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna. Ancestors. We just got through that. Scorpio season's all about ancestors as well, and those oh, as a friend on the server likes to call it subterranean. Oh my god, that happened again. Okay, there we go. Subterranean themes. I think this one wants to come out. Earthed. Yeah, see? Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. Right. So we've got, like, you are a soul. That's what you are. You're not the physical manifestation of the stars around you. Who you are is your soul. What you are is a physical manifestation of the divine. This meat, so it's going at the end of this lifetime. Where you go after that is your soul. And I know that some people listening to this might not be particularly religious or spiritual. You might be agnostic, and that's fine. There's no judgment here about that. But the point of this channel is always going to be about spiritual development. That means that I'm assuming that souls exist. If that's not something you're comfortable with, that's fine. Take what resonates. Maybe something else in this reading works for you. You don't have to agree with me on that. But that's what I'm seeing this is about. You know, you are a soul that's being brought down here. And it's about connecting with the earth and your surroundings, but it's also acknowledging you're in the world, but not necessarily. I mean, you are of it, but that's not the only thing that's going on, right? What's to come out? Oh, the courageous peony. Yeah, peonies are all about heart chakra healing as well, by the way. Multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. So, right, if anybody's been feeling, I was talking about avoidance earlier. If anybody's been feeling like you need to hide away because these energies are so intense, don't let the intensity of the moment scare you into hiding yourself. This is such a creative transit as well as being a bit intense and chaotic. You know, let yourself express yourself. You know, how you feel, what you think, what you like to create. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I know it can be scary. I get scared doing that too, but you know, once you do, it's really wonderful that you're getting to express that part of yourself. It feels kind of freeing. Called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. Soul gifts, those gifts coming back in from the divine after the micromoon comes back around to us. What was I saying? Oh, I love it when the cards say what I was going to say. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. You know what's so funny is I think this might have come up in the very first reading that I had done for this channel, or one of the first ones. We've got that rainbow energy coming in again. A little bit in this one too. I'm seeing that as being about spirit. If you're Quechua or Aymara, so Peruvian, Colombian, Chilean, that whole area has a lot of Quechua and Aymara people. The rainbow is super significant as like an expression of the soul and their culture as well. Just felt like bringing that up. This is actually reminding me of some other little, I don't know where this actually is, but it's reminding me of something I saw in Peru. That is so pretty. Trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. That's it. And it's because your soul is eternal, right? You have many times to learn this lesson. It can be really frustrating, and I would say be courageous. You are called. Time to step up. Don't waste time. But don't feel rushed either at the same time. Balance. You know, it's not all one way or the other. You can step up and still have patience. You can feel motivated and still have patience with yourself. Okay, I'm liking that. Okay, I'm gonna do this and then do the lunar ones. This is the Theban. I'm not gonna do all of it because it's like 20 different things. Dice. Oh, we got the lunar phases. Yes. I love that because it's going from growing to leaving, and we were just talking about from the new moon to the full moon to what we're getting going forward until the next major lunar transit. Okay, I like that. Oh, we got 2 of these. That's interesting. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is we're getting stability and change coming in together. Stability and change are coming in together at the same time. You can keep the core of who you are while still changing some things about maybe behaviors or surroundings. Whatever it is you feel called to change, really check in with your soul on that one, your conscience, not just how you're feeling in any particular moment. Because changes are happening. Changes and phases are happening right now. This is interesting that we got 2 of these. By the way, this is also called the witch alphabet, so anybody's interested in that sort of stuff, follow me. Give it a like. I don't usually say that during the videos, but I guess I'll go for it this time. I feel like this is all about reflection again. 2 beings reflecting each other. What's interesting, this isn't necessarily what the thing means, but just the shape of it looks like somebody's sitting down and they've got like their arms around their knees, similar to how this guy does, and they're both facing each other. I'm seeing this is about reflection. 2 people who are more similar than they think they are, reflecting each other. And we're all more similar than we think we are to other people who frustrate us, right? Oftentimes the things that frustrate us most about other people are the things we've abandoned about ourselves. So, yeah. I'm seeing this is about coming to know yourself better. Earth, you're in the world but not of it. Come to understand your soul, not just what you think you see in the light of day, what's clear as day, the sun, the ego stuff. Look at what's being grown. What's being grown inside of you is your soul. Okay, I'm gonna put these up here. Ooh. Oh my God, again? I was planning to bring this up because we were talking about how a fiery climax approaches, and we've got all this stuff about balance here and security and stability. During the new moon, we were talking about how, oh, a fiery climax is approaching. I think it's already approached, and it's kind of in the past area. This isn't necessarily a past to future reading, but I'll just note, because I brought this up and this came up, this is in the past area of a spread if you were to do a past, present, future reading. And I pulled this last time. We had a full moon in, no, we had a new moon in, no, we had a full moon, what am I talking about? We had a full moon in Aries, then we had the new moon in Scorpio. So we were getting that energy from the full moon in Aries to the new moon in Scorpio, this climactic energy, right? It's fiery, intense energy. Well, because of the moon got covered for a little while during this transit with the eclipse, some of this new moon energy in Scorpio that was carrying energy, like it carries, right? It's transformed. It's not exactly the same as the day it was, but you're during one lunar cycle, or 2 in this case, you've got an energy that's coming back around, just in a different phase. And usually if you've learned the lesson or you've completed the task, it'll be released. during the full moon, and then with the waning moon, it'll continue releasing. And then the new moon will start something completely else. You know, the things that you want will be manifesting during the full and waning moon, and anything that does not have anything to do with that manifestation will be releasing. This energy is coming back around again because of the eclipse. And I think during the eclipse and the time leading right up to it, the few days right beforehand, have that intensity to it. But that's not necessarily bad. It's bringing up something that's been shoved in the dark, right? Because Scorpio sun is a subconscious type of sun compared to, say, a Leo sun. So it's bringing up that subconscious stuff, and it's coming out in the form of a fiery climax. That can mean a lot of things. It can mean cathartic release and art, or it can mean difficulties. Neither one is necessarily better than the other. It's just how that energy chooses to express itself. I think we'd all like it to express itself in a lovely, creative, artistic way more often than not, but you know, that is always a choice. It depends on what is dealt with properly and what isn't, what is addressed and what isn't, and whether or not you find a way to creatively release this. I know a lot of people have been talking about using games or, okay. Yeah, meditate and contemplate was the one that wanted to come up. That goes well with that. You know, always get out your calendars and see when the next new moon in Pisces is going to be. Yeah, I think it's about contemplating, okay, what did we learn from this? You know, that's what I think this is what's going on here. And it sometimes is about you needing to change something in your behavior. Sometimes it's about, okay, maybe something in this dynamic needs to shift. We both have different needs. How do we address this? You know, something like that. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna do some of the thing. More cards aren't wanting to come out. I usually try to do 3. Maybe I'll just take back the deck after I'm done shuffling. Yeah, I'm gonna just take back the deck. Your commitment is being tested. But it's always tricky to figure out in what way sometimes, isn't it? You know, sometimes it's very obvious, but with a Scorpio themes, sometimes it's, and especially Pisces themes in this reading, it can sometimes be like meditating and contemplating. I almost want to get like a clarifying card. What is that about? Yeah, I'm going to get a clarifying card. Your commitment is being tested. How so? It's asking you, are you committed to one thing, or are you, like, how does that commitment want to be expressed? How does this commitment want to be expressed? Oh. So I'm seeing stability. I often think of fidelity too when I think of the Emperor and the number 4. But we also see expression, very much expressiveness. Creativity again. For some of you, maybe a bit more of a sensual expression. So if you're in a relationship, maybe it wants to be expressed through physical affection. But also, I think, you know, having appropriate boundaries with friendships, because number 4, you can see it's like a stable house. We have about a fortress in the background here. It's about, and we know the water is boundarying it off. So you could be this, or you could be the person in the castle, right? And maybe you're having boundaries with this, like there's nothing wrong with this. And maybe your commitment to certain things needs to be expressed this way, but maybe it also needs to be like, that's so interesting. Wow. So yeah, it's just wanting to be uncanny sometimes. It's wanting to be having, how do I put this in a way that's not going to, it's honoring that different people have different needs and saying, okay, you can have this with certain people, maybe I have this with certain people, but maybe this is my fortress and you're from that group over there and they're naked. Maybe I'm not supposed to have that level of familiarity with certain people. I'm in this fortress over here. There's an alternative way of looking at it. These people are very free and expressive, and in the fortress, it's like, and the windows are open. This is stable too, but this is like closed off a little bit. So maybe not being too closed off is also a message. Not being too afraid to go forward and have that expression with somebody who matters to you. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that and say whichever one of those interpretations resonates the most with you is the one that you need to look at, because there's two sides to this coin and they're both valid for different kinds of people. So we'll see what goes there. Okay then, I think that's the reading, guys. I'm hoping that as we are going into, and this is also, I will say this looks like very Sagittarius energy to me as well, because usually we think of Saturn when we think of stability, but Jupiter's very stable too. He's, you know, Saturn's the king of time and structure and society. Jupiter's the king of the gods, and you know, the sun is the king of like your culture and mankind. And it's like saying here, this has very Jupiter solar energy to me. It's like, and it's got the number 4, so it's got that, so with the wands, it's got that Sagittarian energy, and with the fire and the openness, with the 4, it's got that Saturnine energy. It's about balance. You know, in order to have stability, you need to have balance. That's why you get these two different interpretations here. They're two sides of the same coin, just a different way of looking at it. And saying, you know, as we're going into this, coming out of this heavier, deeply reflective internal Scorpio energy that has the potential to be very healing, we're going into this lighter, very blessed Sagittarian energy coming out of Scorpio. That's really lovely. I think it's going to be about, and some of you might even be like wanting to finally travel. I'm seeing like this potential for like you going to somebody's wedding or something in a different state, or even maybe a different country. So somebody might have, that's a very specific one, but somebody might be wanting to travel to another state or another country that's very different in climate and culture from their own, to go to a wedding or like some kind of, I know they're all naked, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like a, like a very, it's art, guys. Like a very, celebratory energy going on here. You might even go there to like take part in a religious festival or something. Maybe with the winter solstice coming up, you're wanting to travel to southern hemisphere or warmer state to take part in a winter solstice ceremony, anything like that. Somebody's wanting to travel for something is what I'm seeing. It's not going to apply to everybody, but what is applying is coming forward into the Sagittarian season. We're going to be getting a lot of blessings coming in. And they're going to be stable blessings. It's not just going to be like the Knight of Wands who comes in hot and fast and has something to say, and then it needs to be grounded into something real. 4 of Wands is pretty grounded compared to some other wands. And we see that with the fortress and the earth going on. I was just talking about how the fire is a very Taurus concept as well, like the campfire food. It's the creative side of Venus, right? It's this, on the one hand, it's obviously sensuality and sexuality to a point as well, but it can also express itself in that beautiful way I was talking about with my mom, wanting to nurture people, wanting to give them delicious food, wanting to make nice and interesting and new things. I love that. That's so sweet. Okay. I'm kind of geeking out too much here because I'm just looking at pictures and y'all are like, why is she getting so worked up over reading? But it's beautiful. I like that. And we see that the decorations are even tied in with like these beautiful pink bows, and it's like pink is the color of the heart chakra, so it's about holding on to, and the holding on is happening right around her heart area, and she's got a little bit of pink here too. So, you know, it's holding on to things that are important to your heart. It's about a stability of something going on with the heart. Whether that's a creative project or a person, that's what's going on there. Okay, guys, I think this reading has gone on pretty long. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I really hope that you have a beautiful holiday season, guys.